never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tie me to someone who will love me, yeah. Wait, I think I'll last a bit longer, fine.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Happy Wednesday to everybody out there and happy Thanksgiving Eve. This is the last day you will wake up before you get to stuff your face, and it's okay, because all throughout the year when you stuff your face, you know, people like me that love to eat, we get accused of being pigs, being hogs, eating too much, you know, being a real life garbage disposal, whatever phrase people say to you. But at Thanksgiving time, when you eat too much, it's okay. So I love this time of the year. But it is, of course, time for another weekly Top 10 Countdown. And this week's Top 10 Countdown is going to be about Christmas. And I will get more specific on what it's going to be about here in a minute or so. But first, let me say that honestly, this week's countdown wasn't going to be about Christmas. I was going to go in a different direction. But I always say that I take requests anytime for Top 10 Countdowns. And on Monday, I got a request to do this specific countdown. So the countdown that I was going to do, I'll do next week, maybe, may not. I'm not sure yet. But I always take requests. So since this was requested, I'm going to do it today. And that is Top 10 Best All-Time Christmas Movies. Now, of course, obviously this is my personal opinion, and Christmas movies is one of those things you can ask 100 people, and more than likely all 100 people are going to have a different top 10. They may have some or all of the same movies, but they'll be in a different order. Now, I have said on here numerous times that I am not, by any stretch of the imagination, a movie buff. So I can't sit here and tell you that I've seen 500 Christmas movies, because if I told you that, I'd be lying to you. But obviously I've seen a lot. Everybody has seen Christmas movies, and everybody likes their own form of Christmas movies. Some like the romantic kind, some like the family type, some like the comedy type, some like the scary type. There's all different kinds out there. And if you've seen any of these, please feel free, as always, to let me know while you're in the comments section. Make sure if you have not subscribed, you do subscribe and like the video and share the video on all social media platforms. Now, there are a ton of Christmas movies that came out back in the 30s and 40s and 50s, and I saw bits and pieces of them growing up because of my grandparents, because they like to watch old movies like that. But I can't say that I've seen enough of them to rank them in a countdown. And now, as an adult, I just don't go back and watch them. I just can't make myself sit down and watch a black and white 80-year-old movie. I just can't do it. If you can, more power to you. I just can't. Number 10 came out in 2003, and that is Bad Santa. Now, of course, obviously, you can look up these movies if you have not seen them or don't recall seeing them, and you can find out who was in them, what they were about, and all that. But I'm not going to take all day to do that. I'm just going to tell you the name of the movie and what year it came out. But if you're a Christmas movie buff, you've probably seen every one of these. Number 9 came out the year before the greatest man that ever lived was born, 1983, A Christmas Story. Now, the one that's number 8, I almost didn't write down because it's very controversial in the minds of Christmas movie buffs, because to some people it's a Christmas movie, to some people it's not. So to avoid controversy, I almost just left it off the list and found another movie to replace it with. But honestly, in my opinion, it is a Christmas movie. And if you get on the internet and you read about it, most of the websites that you go to, whatever they are, to read about movies, most of the websites actually have this listed as a Christmas movie. And if you read the short info, like all movies have, as far as who's in it, what's it about, and just read the info section, it pretty much tells you it's a Christmas movie. 1988, Die Hard. Number 7 from 2005, The Family Stone. And number 6 from 2003, Elf. Again, 10 through 6, Bad Santa, A Christmas Story, Die Hard, The Family Stone, and Elf. Number 5 from 2006, Last Holiday. Number 4, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation from 1989. Number 3, 1994. And that was the year that The Santa Claus came out. And the top 2 will, in my personal humble opinion, always be the top 2. There will never, in the history of all mankind, be a Christmas movie that's ever going to top the top 2, in my opinion. And these are honestly the only 2 Christmas movies that I make it a habit to go back and watch every single year. The rest of them, if they're on, I'll watch them. If somebody else wants to watch it, I'll watch it. But the top 2 are the only 2 that myself, every single Christmas, I make it a habit to sit down and watch these at least one time. I think it's partly because of nostalgia, because it reminds me of me being a short, little, small, sexy, wee little lad. And I think part of it is because they're just funny and they're all-time classic Christmas movies. Number 2 from 1992, Home Alone 2. And number 1 from 1990, Home Alone. Now, I know they had more than 2 Home Alones, but honestly, after part 2, when Kevin was no longer Macaulay Culkin and the robbers were no longer Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, it wasn't the same. I tried my best to watch Home Alone 3, and after about 45 minutes of it, I said, nope, can't do it. And I just can't do it. But Home Alone in 1990 came out when I was 6 years old, and I can still remember watching it for the very first time. And if I live to be 975 years old, Home Alone, in my opinion, will always be the best Christmas movie. There's just something about it. I can watch it 3 or 4 times every single Christmas, and I never get tired of watching it. I don't know why. I can't explain it because since I'm not a movie person, typically, normally, most of the time, I watch a movie once and then I might watch it again 4 or 5 years down the road, and that's generally about it. I just am not the type person that's going to sit back and waste time watching the same movie over and over and over and over and over again because I've seen it. I know what happened. I know the outcome. But Home Alone, I can watch it over and over and over again. So that wraps it up for this week's Top 10 Countdown. As I said, it was Top 10 Best All-Time Christmas Movies according to me, and it was requested on Monday, and I love doing requested Top 10 Countdowns because it makes me have to do research and think, because a lot of times I'm doing something that's totally, completely different, and when I get a request, it's sometimes something I ain't even thought about doing, so I have to sit down and think about it, and I enjoy it because that makes it funner and it makes it harder. Because if you're going to do a top 10 countdown that you're going to do, you've got a week from Wednesday to Wednesday to think about it. But when you get a request on a Sunday or Monday and do it on Wednesday, you've only got a couple of days to think about it. And I enjoy that, so thanks for the request for top 10 all-time Christmas movies. And as I said, you can ask somebody their top 10, and they're probably going to give you a completely different list that's probably going to include 3 or 4 of the ones on my list, but they're more than likely not going to be in the same spot. Any thoughts on it? Please feel free to let me know. Homes for Our Troops is a publicly funded 501c nonprofit organization that builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans. Since the 2004 inception, nearly 90 cents of every dollar spent has gone directly to our program services for veterans. Visit at hfotusa.org. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. There was a fire at the shoe factory. Luckily, no souls were lost. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.